Welcome learners in the series of videos on topology. This is video number 56 in the playlist of topology. We are talking about compact spaces. In the previous video, we have talked about if X is a Hausdorff space, then a compact set is closed. And also if X is a matrix space, then it is bounded as well. And hence, by using these results, we proved or we stated that in R with zero topology, a subset K is compact if and only if it's closed and bounded. So, as said in the last video, let's move ahead and check what about the continuous image. We have proved that continuous image of a connected set is connected. But what about compact space? So let's take that as a theorem. So we will talk about the continuous image of a compact set. So let us take two topological spaces. Say let X and Y be topological spaces. And let us take a function and f from x to y be a continuous function, be continuous. If we have a compact set here, we are looking at the image of that compact set. So if X is a subset of X, if K is a subset of X is compact, of course that will be compact in X, then the image of this compact set, then Fk as a subset of Y is compact, of course in Y. So we are showing that the image of a compact set is compact. Okay, so let's see what it is first. So we have two topological spaces right now. So we have one space as X, another space we have Y, and we have a function f from X to Y. Okay, now we have a compact set here. So we have K which is compact. Okay, we will have Fk this side. So let's use the same color. We will have Fk this side. Okay, we need to show that if F is compact, then this Fk is also compact. Okay, and the basic idea of this proof is we will take an open cover for Fk. We will use the fact that F is continuous and we will revert back and get the open cover for K. Since K is compact, this will have finite subcover, and that the image of that cover this side will be the finite cover for this Fk. Okay, and hence for the open cover we'll have a finite subcover, hence Fk will be compact. This is the basic idea of this proof. So let's move ahead and write the proof. So our proof starts from here. So let us take a cover for Fk first. We need to show that Fk is compact. So let V alpha, or say V alpha, I is the indexing set, alpha belongs to I, be an open cover for Fk. Okay, we need to find the finite subcover for this. Now what is the meaning of this open cover? That means Fk is a subset of union alpha belongs to I, V alpha. Okay, we are not going to write it now. Now claim, as I said, let's write a claim the inverse images of this. Right, now remember this V alphas are over here. It is like this V alpha. Okay, it's covered by Fk. It covers Fk. So inverse image of this will be this side. So F inverse image of V alpha, this side, ulta. Now remember, when you say F inverse, it is not the inverse function. This F need not be 1, 1 on 2, need not be bijective. When you write this is the inverse image. Okay, so claim inverse images of V alpha, same indexing set, alpha belongs to I, is open cover for K. So if we prove a claim, that implies this will be open for K and K is compact, that implies this will have a finite subcover. Right? So let us prove this claim. First, we need to show that all are open. And to show that it is open, we know that F is continuous function. This F is continuous function. So we will use that fact here. So F is continuous and this V alpha is open in Y. This implies inverse image of V alpha by the definition of continuity. V alpha is open in X, and this happens for all alpha belonging to I. So all the points over here, all the subsets in this set are open sets. First thing. Second thing, let us prove that it covers K. Let us prove that it covers K. Now let us take a point, A belongs to K, we will show that this is inside the union of this F inverse of V alphas. Okay. Then if A belongs to K, then of course FA will belongs to Fk, and we know that this Fk is contained inside union alpha belongs to I V alpha, because this V alpha is a cover for Fk. So this will be contained inside this. This implies this Fa will belong to one of these V alphas, right? So let us write V alpha A for some alpha A belonging to I. So there is some alpha A belonging to I such that this Fa will be in that V alpha A. Okay, so this implies this Fa belongs to V alpha A. This implies A will belong to inverse image of V alpha A, and this is one of the elements, so that will be the subset of all the unions. So union alpha belongs to I, inverse image of V alpha, right? And therefore we proved that we have taken a point in K, we proved that this point is in the union. This implies K will be subset of the union alpha belongs to I, inverse images of V alpha. Okay, and therefore hence the claim. So we proved that this is the cover, inverse images of V alpha is the cover for K, and since K is compact, since K is compact, there exists a finite subcover. There exists finite subcover, that is, let us write I from 1 to n, that is K will be contained inside union I from 1 to n inverse images of V alpha I. So there exists alpha 1, alpha 2 up to alpha n such that this happens. Okay. Now we have a finite cover for K. Now from this finite cover we will get the finite cover for Fk. So claim Fk is contained inside or is covered by union I from 1 to n V alpha I. This is our claim now. Next claim. Let us close this. Let us take a point y here. So now let us take a point y in Fk. So let y belongs to Fk. So this y belongs to Fk means what? This implies inverse image of this y will belongs to K, and K is covered by finite union I from 1 to n inverse images of V alpha I. So inverse image of y is inside this union. That means that will be inside one of them, right? So this implies inverse image of y will be belongs to one of inverse image of V alpha say y for some alpha y. I'm just writing alpha y for the notation purpose. We cannot alpha p, right? For some alpha y, and hence this should imply y will belong to f of inverse image of V alpha y, and of course this will be contained inside V alpha y. That is what we proved is y belongs to V alpha y, right? So this implies we have taken a point Fk or a point y in Fk. We proved that this y is in this, and of course this is contained inside union I from 1 to n V alpha I, right? Let me take p here. P is from 1 to n for some p, p, okay. So for alpha p, 1 less than equals to p less than equals to n, okay, and therefore Fk will be contained inside union I from 1 to n V alpha I. So we proved that Fk has a finite set over here, and hence K is compact. Right? The basic idea was we took a open cover for the Fk, and we got the finite set over. By using this, one can easily state that this completes our proof. Okay. By using this, one can easily prove that. I will just write the example. There is no continuous surjective map from closed interval say 0,1 to R. Of course, with R with usual topology. Right? Now, if there is a continuous surjective map from closed interval 0,1 to R, this implies this is compact, so image of this will be compact this side. And since it's compact, since it's surjective map, it's onto map, the image of closed interval 0,1 will be equals to whole of R, and R is not compact. Hence, this is the case. Okay. Another thing what we can do, let's see, there is a theorem itself. So theorem, very elementary one. Let X be a topological space. Let X be a topological space. And let us take a function and let f be the function from x to R with usual topology. Okay, what topology we have on X we don't know, but our codomain is R with usual topology. And let us say that function f be continuous. Okay, now let us take a compact set in the domain. So if K subset of X, of course we will take non-empty, is compact, then we say that there exist points say x1 comma x2 belonging to K, our set K, such that all those images will lie in between this fx1 and fx2. This we can compare because our codomain is R. In R we can compare the elements, and this happens for all x belonging to K. What it means is if we have a compact set, then there exist 2 points in the set K such that rest all the points will lie between fx1 and fx2. All the images of the points from K. Okay, very simple proof. Is this? See. First, note that if K is compact, then Fk will be compact because F is continuous. So note that Fk is compact. Because K is compact, F is continuous function, so the continuous image of compact set is compact. We have proved here. So note that Fk is compact first. And secondly, this Fk is a subset of Ru. Right? So we have a compact subset of R with usual topology. That means it will be closed and bounded. So hence, I'm not writing all those things. Hence, this Fk is closed and bounded in R with usual topology. So if it is closed and bounded in R with usual topology, it will contain the infimum and supremum, right? And hence Fk contains its infimum, let us take say fx1. Of course, that fx1 means x1 should be in from K, and it also contains its supremum, say fx2. And also, since it's closed, this fx1 and fx2 will be inside fk, right? Since fk is closed, this fx1 and fx2 will belong to the set, that is fk. So if fx1, fx2 belongs to fk, fx1 is the infimum, fx2 is the supremum. This implies fx1, which is the infimum, will be less than or equals to fx, any general element, and that will be less than or equals to the supremum fx2. And this holds for all the elements in K. Okay, so that's over here. Also remember that if you have a function from Ru to Ru which is continuous, then it will take a closed set to a closed set, right? Let us take that as a corollary. So let us take a function f from R with usual topology to R with usual topology be continuous then the image of closed interval a comma b will be equals to closed interval c comma d. It need not be a comma b, right? Where what are these ABCD? ABCD are from R. It is understood. Okay, so if f is a continuous function from R is equal topology to R is equal topology, then it will take closed intervals to closed intervals. But the same thing is not true for open intervals, right? If we have open interval here, it need not imply that it will take that open interval to open. That is, if we have say a comma b open, semi-open, this need not imply we will have a semi-open interval instead, say c comma d. Okay, but the result is true for the closed interval. So it will take closed interval to closed interval. So you can try to prove this. Okay, so I guess this is enough for the today's video. In the next video, we will see an example where we can say that every continuous one-one map from closed interval a comma b to R is a monotone map, and we will prove that, or we will state the theorems for the compact sets, right? Product of two compact sets. So see you in the next video.